Hey everybody, welcome back to the Goat Marketing Show. We got a fun one today because we get to switch up gears and talk a little bit more about sales enablement. Over the last week, I've had a number of people reach out to me and said, hey, beyond creating images and using Chat GPT for copy, how else can we use AI and what does it really mean? So today we're going to dive into the subject. John, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be back, and it's nice to have a new angle to talk about AI here. I
Oh,
think
it's fun.
a lot of the times when you know our job, I think they people view the job of a marketing agency as like getting people in the door, and then we kind of stop there. But I think I like the angle that I think it was you who's leading this charge, and it doesn't have to stop with getting people in the door. We can help people close the actual sales and teach people how to do that as well. So that's fun.
100%. I think the one thing that we've always stayed true to is something called our customer loyalty framework. And so many of the businesses we have worked with, and this is really common in B2B, is there's a huge focus on both renewals and referrals. And that's the cornerstone of how most of our clients have found success. And I think if they look at AI, and right now, AI is kind of the blanket term. So right now it's kind of encompassing marketing automation, which isn't necessarily new. But when you start to use AI and integrate things like chatbots or help to augment conversations, it can be incredibly powerful in the sales process itself. So once you've handed off the lead, how can you start to use AI? And if you look at it from a very simplistic standpoint, things like calendar booking. If I'm able to use an AI that can look at my calendar and help take the burden of finding a meeting time, that frees up more productivity for me as a salesperson to go do high leverage tasks like go prospecting or go meet with people and just do things rather than just send emails back and forth trying to find 15 minutes. And again, like Calendly's been around for a few years. Whether or not you say that's true AI, it's a tool and a capacity leveraging technology that's making life easier for salespeople.
Yeah, and that's also like a good tool for making sure that nothing is slipping through the cracks, and it takes that human error out of people, or maybe you forget to follow up with someone, or and we've talked a lot about how important it is to follow up and how many touch points you need. So if you can automate that process so you're not losing those touch points or missing out on those important moments, that's a huge part too.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was doing a training session with some real estate agents recently, and that topic came up. And the irony is one of the big examples. If you bought a house or you've looked for a house recently, or even if you're trying to find a rental property, a lot of times an agent will just sign you up and you get this listing of 200 things. There's no customization, there's no uniqueness to it. But when you can go a level deeper and take what would be an automation and then customize and add some nuance to it, whether it's, hey, these are the what you're going to see, here's the three favorite I have, or start to be more personable. And instead of it have like an automated response, instead assign a task like, hey, here is the information that you need to send to the client, review it and send it to them. That's a great example of saying, hey, here's the major touch points, or in your customer journey, here as a salesperson is when you need to step in and engage and not rely solely on a newsletter or an email workflow. And sometimes, and this is more technical, but it shows the effectiveness of why you need to set it up properly. You may have a post purchase engagement or a post lead sequence. Let's say there's 5 emails, but you want your system to be able to say, hey, this person has opened it, clicked the link, assign a task for a salesperson to reach out. The reason we picked the show title as what salespeople should never do is they should never be 100% reliant on technology. They shouldn't solely be looking at, hey, can this replace my whole job? Because especially in B2B or any field that has salespeople, you have to build relationships. And more often than not, the higher dollar the sales value is, the longer the closing time and the longer the relationship will extend. So if you don't have a hands-on approach, and this is why I think it's going to be a long time before you see AI replace salespeople. At least I hope so. Otherwise, I'm going to be real terrified. But I think like the element of relationships is going to go a long way. And listen, there is software out there. I mean, there's I think it's called surf.ai that'll do prospecting calls, and it is 100% artificial intelligence. But once you get into the sales process and you have more of an in-depth conversation, you need human interaction. And I just don't think we're going to be there in AI for a long, long time.
Yeah. And I think that that kind of reminded me of something that you said earlier in a meeting today about um, achieving more long-term goals. I feel like that, like the relationships go play a huge part in, there's, it's one thing to get the quick wins, but it's another thing to have long-term success. And I feel like the human element is what will give you that long-term success.
Listen, it's easy come, easy go. Like I'm not going to say easy, but you can scale a transactional business pretty quickly. But the companies that last, like the brands that you see last for 20, 30 years, those are the ones that have relationship elements, and that's usually regardless of, the dollar value. Just think about a really great customer experience. You're going to be loyal to a brand. And chances are it's because you had a human interaction with somebody that helps with that product, whether it's, hey, I had a bad customer experience, could be an airline, for example. I will never stop raving about Delta because their customer experience and their people are unbelievable at helping you get from A to B. And that's something that always stays true. And I don't know that AI will ever be able to replace that human element that gives you the great customer satisfaction, that gives you the experiences that build brand loyalty. So, yes, AI, marketing automation, they're really helpful when it's given to a person and it helps fulfill a task and make through something's missing. But it can be detrimental if you allow it or try to get it to take over all tasks
Mm.
and do everything there. Because building a business, it takes great people, not just a great product.
Yeah, and I've heard you say that one before. I always like that perspective.
Well, it's like you even look at how like we work with our clients. Like marketing at its core is a people business. We're trying to understand the psychology of how people buy and how they move from I have a problem, I need a solution. Can this company help me get from here to here? We're selling the transformation. We're not selling a product. And more often than not, it's the people that help with that transformation, not just the thing.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to summarize that for sure. Yeah.
But listen, I will tell you, there are a handful of tools I think that are really good and people should use. Number one is any type of calendar booking software. Calendly is a great one. HubSpot's got a great one. Go High Level has an amazing one. I'm biased to Go High Level for a complete workflow because it integrates really well. We have a lot of clients on it. It's really seamless and simple. One for calendar booking. I switched to this about a year ago, and chances are, if you're on social media, you've probably seen this. Like, oh, my boss thought I hired a virtual assistant. It gave me back a month in the year. That's something called usemotion .ai. What that allows you to do is do task management and automates time blocking. So if you say, hey, I need 2 hours of my week to do social posts, it'll find the time blocks in between your meetings and fill them so you don't get overbooked with phone calls, prospecting, you name it. So Motion is a really powerful tool for automating some tasks and helping with your calendar. And then the last one, which is really interesting, we've been using it for a long time, otter.ai, really powerful transcription tool for YouTube. For Zoom. You can pull it in your Zoom meetings, it'll produce the transcripts. Where I think we're going to see major breakthroughs is AI is being integrated into more sales platforms. So Salesforce announced that they've integrated AI, and the pieces of automation where I think it's going to be most valuable for is in the note taking, the automation of contact records, updating status of things. So, for example, let's say, hey, we just had a sales call. Zoom captures the transcript. All of that's automated into the contact record and the meeting notes. So everything that I used to have to do manually is now in a CRM. And that data becomes more helpful, more valuable. So the workflow automations and those things I think are going to be valuable, but nothing's going to beat a great salesperson who knows how to build relationships.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'll put a link to Motion and Go High Level and some of the other tools in the description here so that people can find those.
Awesome. And honestly, if you guys are watching this and you have some other tools that you love, please post those in the comments. We're always looking,
Yeah.
to share information. If you have something that you found successful, if there's a workflow automation you find in sales is really killer, please share it. The whole goal here is just to make marketing and sales more effective for everybody. Get the great products in front of the people that need them.
Awesome.
All right, everybody. I know this was a quick one, but it had come up from our clients a lot this week. So we want to make sure we touch base on it. If you have any ideas, questions, comments on future shows, please leave those below wherever you're watching this so we know we can bring some value to you. Until next week, everybody, have an awesome week.
Take care.